محدش بيتكلم يا سارة. أنا متهيألي.
ألو؟
صباح الخير، أنا سامعاكي يا سارة.
طيب perfect. I'm testing بس إن كل حاجة تمام. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Emad.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the short talk series organized and hosted by the Research Center for Irish Studies at the British University in Egypt. I am Dr. Sarah Khalil, Assistant Professor of Renewable Energy. I'm the Renewable Energy Program Director and the Faculty Teaching and Learning Coordinator in the Faculty of Energy and Environmental Engineering. My research experience is in the nuclear energy field and materials simulation and modeling with a focus on materials under extreme conditions and materials used in energy applications. I recently joined the Research Center for Irish Studies with a strong belief in its mission for fostering transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary research work and building bridges between industry and academia to promote future collaborations that can benefit both sides. Our short talk series this afternoon is in collaboration with Siemens Energy in Egypt. Siemens has a number of mega power plant projects completed in Egypt with more than 500 Egyptians sent to Germany for training. Our guest speaker today, Mr. Emad Ghaly, Managing Director of Siemens Energy. Mr. Emad has generously agreed to tell us more about Siemens green projects. Mr. Ghaly is the Managing Director for Siemens Energy in Egypt. During his 24-year tenure at Siemens, he has held various managerial positions in Europe and Middle East. Based in Cairo, Mr. Ghaly was most recently the CEO for Siemens in Egypt since 2016. Before that, he was the Senior Executive Vice President for Wind and Renewables for Siemens in the Middle East and for Power and Gas for Siemens in Egypt, overseeing a wide range of business segments, services, and technologies. Mr. Ghaly has been elected in July 2018 as the President of the German Arab Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Between 2008 and 2011, Mr. Ghaly served as President of Renewable Energy and Oil and Gas for Siemens in Egypt. In 2006, Mr. Ghaly was appointed as Senior Vice President, Head of Corporate Strategy and Government Affairs for Siemens in Egypt, focusing on growth areas and developing new opportunities in the market. Prior to this tenure, Mr. Ghaly served as Director of Regional Sales, Northern and Western Europe, from 2004 through 2006, where he contributed to developing the company's business in several countries across Europe, including Germany, the UK, Ireland, and Netherlands. Mr. Ghaly started his career with Siemens in 1995 as an electrical engineer. He has held various senior positions at information and communication sector before becoming a key account manager for Siemens Information and Communication Mobile Group in 2000. Welcome, Mr. Ghaly. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Sarah. Good afternoon, everyone. Shall I wait a few minutes for others to join, or shall I start? What do you think?
I think yes, we can wait.
Yeah, if you would like, maybe you can wait for 2-3 minutes. You can start.
Yeah, 1-2 minutes.
Yes, that would be enough.
So let me share my slide in between. Do you see the slide?
Yes.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay. So then let's start. Okay, so thank you very much for inviting me and hope that you enjoy our discussion. And I want it to be a discussion over the next 60 minutes. And if you have questions, I believe, is there a chat in the Zoom, Sarah, that they can send a question in the chat?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good. So let's start with a quick exercise. Can you please, you see on the screen, can you go to www.menti.com and use the code that you see on the screen and you answer one question? So only two, three answers. Okay. Are you all awake? 4. Okay. Coming now. 9.
كنا سايبينها مع
Okay, so
بابا في العربية وكنا متوقفة.
it's very difficult. They're all equal. Okay, wait a couple of minutes for others to join. You don't see the. So which screen do you see now? There is nothing on the screen. Okay, do you see now on the screen? So you voted. So 12, they want to link to see how projects are linked to the energy industry, and I think it's equal. Okay, it doesn't show on the screen still. Okay, just to tell you the results. 10 want to get to know Siemens Energy, 10 want to learn about green hydrogen, and 12 want to link theoretical learning.
Mr. Ghaly,
theoretical learning to energy industry. Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. We only see your email.
I'm trying now to share with Zoom because I'm not very familiar with Zoom.
Okay.
Let me try again. So share your screen. So now we see it?
Yes, now we can see it.
Okay, good. So let's say if you can see, the majority wants to see how the theoretical what you learn at BUE is linked to the energy industry, and then also to learn about green hydrogen and to see and learn about Siemens Energy, get to know Siemens Energy. So we'll try to focus on these topics in my presentation. So let's go back to the slides. Do you see now the slides or not? Or I have to switch back?
Yeah, either you share your full screen or you have to keep switching between applications.
Okay.
So
That's
share
something to
again,
learn.
but your slides.
Okay, sorry for that.
That's okay, take your time.
Okay, so now I share my entire screen. Okay. Now the entire screen goes to the PowerPoint. Do you see it now? The slides?
Yes, now we can see it.
Good. Okay. So we'll talk briefly about we start to talk about our heritage in Egypt. That goes back, which you are all as Siemens Energy employees and Siemens employees who are all very proud of. That goes back for over 120 years. Since Siemens started operation in Egypt, we executed many projects across different industries. And we see here on the slide the photo of the Siemens founder, Werner von Siemens. So basically, the first project started in Egypt in 1859 with the laying of the first telegraphic cable between Karachi in Pakistan and Suez in Egypt. But what I can say that over the last 20 years, the most prominent and landmark project was the construction of the largest 3 power plant in the world, which we'll talk about, which I will talk about it later. As you can see, also we supported the execution of many infrastructure projects that had a positive impact either from economic perspective and also from the life of Egyptians over the last 120 years. Where we exist in Egypt, our headquarters is in Cairo, in New Cairo, Tajamma, and we have a service center and Egyptian German Technical Academy in Ain Sokhna. We have approximately 1,000 direct employees, and depending on the projects, maybe we have a couple of hundred other employees as indirect employees. What you see on the photo, this is our Egypt Service Center, where we have there a repair center for our rotating equipment. Instead of sending the rotating equipment, we used to send them to Europe or to the US for repair. We bring them now into Ain Sokhna for repair. We have as well tooling centers that we use it in our maintenance program for rotating equipment that exists in the country or in neighboring country. And we have as well our technical academy, or what we call Egyptian German Technical Academies, where we offer trainees the opportunity to develop skills, acquire experience in real life, hands-on situation, combining both theoretical and practical aspects. The academy is equipped with the latest technologies in 3D printing, virtual reality, digital twin, simulation software. We offer formative automation training, specific training in areas such as power plant control systems, gas turbine operation maintenance, transformers, electro-hydraulics, and computer application skills. So it's a full-fledged training academy around engineering in several disciplines, and we have the goal through the training to provide engineers and technicians at a much higher skills than is currently available in the market. And also, we, as part of our contribution to Egyptian society, we fitted out and equipped the medical equipment, a smart clinic at Shobal Khayma to serve the community. We do believe that we have a role that we play in the community, and we try to do a couple of projects around healthcare. We also supported the fight against COVID-19 by providing medical equipment, of course, that belongs to Siemens, to some governmental hospitals across the country. So let's go now to the energy. So who is Siemens Energy in the energy market? So globally, we lead the market across all our businesses. So we operate in 4 business segments. We operate in the generation market, where we hold the position number 2 in terms of as a centralized market segment and central market segment, or centralized generation. That's all power plant above 100 megawatt. And then we hold the position number 1 in a distributed market segment, which is market segment of all power plant lower than 100 megawatt. We hold position number 2 in industrial application, and industrial application that deals with oil and gas market and all power generation or compression requirement in the industry or manufacturing sector. On the transmission side, we hold the position number 1, and on the renewable side, only so far wind. For onshore, we hold position number 3, and for offshore, which building the wind farm in the sea, we hold position number 1. That's through our company called Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy. In Egypt, we have a similar situation, slightly stronger. We in the generation central market segment, we hold position number 1. In the distributed, we come at position number 2. Industrial application and transmission market segment and wind market segment onshore, we hold position number 1. So we are in a leading market position in the Egyptian market and as well on a global scale. So we have to look into the key forces which impact our portfolio or impact our strategy, the strategy of Siemens Energy to approach the market. The key forces are globalization, urbanization, demographic change, climate change, and that's very important and has impacted and will impact further our portfolio and solutions and product which we provide to our customers, and as well digitalization. And last but not least, of course, the COVID-19 or the pandemic, which had and has still having a an impact on the way we do business. So as I mentioned, climate change is impacting the way we approach our customer and our market. So a question which bothers the mind of Siemens Energy: how can we meet the growing demand of electricity while protecting our climate? So climate change and the increasing energy demand are 2 sides of the same coin. Temperature climbed around the world, and still roughly 850 million people still do not have access to electricity, mainly in Africa. The study showed that global demand for energy could rise above 25% through 2040. So we have a 20-40% expected increase in electricity, and still we have a climate damaging greenhouse gases emission to a certain extent on the rise. So the central question which is facing us: how can we fulfill our task of meeting the growing demand of electricity for our customer, while at the same time provide a path to a climate-friendly future, or provide equipment and solution which is to a certain extent or to high extent climate neutral. So basically, we need to provide the energy which is sustainable, affordable, and reliable. And this is where Siemens Energy comes in. So the battle against climate change must be fought by every individual and by every company. And we are setting the pace, and we are working consistently to achieve climate neutrality, even in our own operation, before we support our customers. So we took as a target to become, as a Siemens Energy, on a global scale, to become climate neutral by 2030. Yet our end markets are changing rapidly. So the wind and solar renewable energy are growing. The gas, nuclear and hydro are slightly growing. But of course, the coal and the oil market are stagnating, and the expectation that the oil market will lose its credibility and will lose its importance in the near future. I'm talking here in terms mainly for the oil, in terms of generating electricity, and down the road the oil at large for other services. It will start to lose its relative importance. So our portfolio, in a nutshell, so we are starting, the world is starting, the whole energy market is starting to go into a transformation of the energy system in order to fight against climate change. So the path to transform the energy systems for our customers has three elements. The first one is the supply side. For the supply side, in order to become sustainable, electricity generation without CO2 emissions has to play a key role, or for some interim period still with low CO2 emissions. So if you take an example, the largest three power plants which Siemens has built over the last 3 to 4 years at Borollos, New Capital, and Benetsweef are generating today electricity with a much lower rate of CO2 emissions compared to the average emission of other power plants in the network. And also today, our gas turbines primarily use natural gas as a fuel. Our target that existing gas turbines in the power plants will be retrofitted to use hydrogen for operation in order to be 100% in order to generate electricity with zero emission down the road. And of course, the production of energy generated from renewable energy, like wind power plants, with Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy, we are aiming to tap into this great potential. And as we can see, there is an expectation, either in Egypt or on a global scale, of very high growth in the renewable energy market. And so we are tapping into this potential market. And in Egypt, Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy is the #1 leading renewable energy company in the wind market in Egypt. And we have they have an installed base up to 2 gigawatt wind, either installed projects or under execution. On the transport of electricity and storage side, we have a portfolio of substation projects that cover many sectors in Egypt, like mobility, industry, and utility, of course. We are, as a company, continuing to expand our transmission technologies to increase their efficiency, because energy transmission and distribution is the key to a successful energy transformation. The effort, as we see it today, is in the development of Siemens high voltage direct current power transmission technology, which facilitate the interconnection and transport of electricity between countries over very long distance with almost losses-free. Furthermore, we have our BUE portfolio of switchgear, which today is an SF6 free product that also play a key role in our transition to an environmentally conscious and greenhouse gas reduction transmission systems. On the supply side, we support our customer to reduce their CO2 footprint and also to decrease their energy consumption or to increase their energy efficiency in their industrial processes. And I will give a couple of examples on actual projects in the country, in Egypt. Sorry. So this is the first project that I will talk about today. That's our Sri power plant, which we have built. We signed the contract in 2015, and we connected to the grid in 2018. So in 27.5 months, we have built 14.4 gigawatt over Sri power plant, and that's from today's perspective, the largest Sri power plants operating on natural gas in a combined cycle operating mode. And we built as well in parallel 8 substations with 500 kilovolt rating. We have trained, as you mentioned, Sarah, 600 Egyptian engineers and technicians, and those 600 are today operating the 3 power plants under the Siemens management contract. And the 3 power plants are operating with the highest efficiency worldwide, and that supported our customer to save $1 billion in fuel costs on an annual basis. The next project, that's in a slightly different area. That's in the area of petrochemical, where we provide long-term maintenance, long-term performance program or long-term maintenance program. And with such contracts, we aim to support our customers to increase the efficiency of their power plant, improve the reliability, availability, and reducing unplanned times, and also that support reduction of their CO2 emissions. This plant exists in Alexandria. It's called Ethitco. A slightly different project. That's a transformer project, but it's a different transformer. It's an intelligent transformer. It's called Senseformers because this transformer has sensors across the component of the transformer. And this transformer, 7 of them are installed at Kafr Sheikh substations, and they are already connected to the grid a couple of weeks ago. And with this intelligent product, we have brought the intelligence to the edge devices at the network, and they're of course all connected. And with such an intelligent product, it enables the customer operator to optimize the quality and the speed of operational decisions, as well as to become more flexible, act faster, and more efficiently in troubleshooting, and also in most of the cases to completely avoid any faults on the transformers. That's a starting point that we support our customer to bring intelligence into the electricity grid. Another example that we provide complete electrification of Line 3, Cairo Metro Line 3, where we provide the electrification package that include comprehensive technologies like gas insulated switchgear, that's also a substation, schematic and also substation operating system, digital technologies, automation, protection, telecommunication equipment to connect the substation to the Egyptian electricity grid. So basically, we are providing we provided, that's already today under operation, we provided the electrification package to Cairo Metro Line 3 and connecting this connecting the substation of the Cairo Metro Line 3 to the Egyptian electricity grid. That's another example of a typical project which we run in Egypt. And of course, as you probably know, that's a very important metro line because it's connected 12 stations, goes to Cairo International Airport, and the expectation that it will serve more than 3 million commuters on a daily basis. Another very important project as well, that's cross-border interconnection between countries, and here we are talking mainly about the interconnection between Egypt and Sudan. We recently signed a contract for the installation of what we call STATCOM, or a static synchronous compensator technologies, and that this type of technologies regulate the transmission variations between the grids, the Egyptian grid and the Sudanese grid. And the target of such stabilization, that it increases the capacity of the interconnection line from today. So today Egypt is exporting 80 megawatt. After we execute this project, the capacity of the line will go up to 300 megawatt. That's still on a AC, high voltage AC connectivity line and not a DC connectivity line. So the two stations, we will install the equipment, the STATCOM equipment at two stations in Sudan. And the target is to manage the grid or manage both grids in order to make sure that we increase the capacity of the electricity exported out of Egypt. We have heard, in my opinion, in Egypt over the last couple of years on the new cities which is the government is building across the country. So we have been awarded at least what I mentioned in my presentation today, substations for four main cities, 4 cities out of them. The first one which I show on the slide, this is Bashar al-Khair city. That's a project in Alexandria. And we are building their substation to connect Bashar al-Khair, which has 25,000 residential units, to connect Bashar al-Khair city to Alexandria grid, and also which means connecting the city to the Egyptian grid, electricity grid. So that's providing here a substation with a rating of 66 over 11 kilovolt station. Also, we deliver it on a turnkey basis. That includes the GIS, gas insulated switchgear, transformers, control systems, protection and telecommunication equipment. Other similar projects, but with a higher rating at the rate of 220 kV, at New Al Amin city, New Mansoura city, and also at Sadat cities. So we arrive here to the second Menti question. So please go to, again, the same exercise, www.menti.com, and answer this question. Use the code which you see on the screen. So you will find the question, what does the Earth Day matter to you? So only 6 have so far answered.
Just want to point out that you need to refresh the page to get the new question.
Is it to me, Sarah Daria, or for the students?
No, it's for the students and all the attendees.
Okay. Okay.
I know many of the attendees use their mobile phones to join, so this is why it might be taking them a little bit longer to participate in the survey.
That's normal, yeah. Okay, so far the majority, as you see it, they have chosen the climate action. Okay, so before I proceed further, can I get at least any comment on the chat why I chosen the climate action? So climate action is number one, at least with still 25 votes, still number one. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So can I get an answer why I chose the climate action? Have you heard that today is the Earth Day, or this is your first time to hear about it?
Are you familiar with Earth Day? Just say yes or no in the chat.
So they're commenting in the chat. So let me, where is the chat? Global warming, okay. CO2 emissions, okay, makes sense. Okay. First time, okay, no. Okay, have the understanding, brave enough to say first time. Okay. Yes, I can imagine. So today actually is the Earth Day. And as I mentioned, as I show you at the beginning, the forces which are impacting our portfolio as a company, and also not only us, but also impacting portfolio of other companies. So it is an important day, the Earth Day, because climate change is serious, and we are a company taking all what we can do in order to support the world globally to fight against climate change and to become climate neutral. So let's continue with the slides. Not sure if you have seen before the graph on the right-hand side. That's in the graph you see, so today from 2021 until 2050. So business as usual, if you continue, we do what we are doing today, you see on we will reach 46.5 gigatons of CO2 emissions. So basically that's a baseline energy scenario, or if we continue what we continue to do today. With whatever measures we are having today, continue business as usual, the world will reach 46.5 gigatons of CO2. There is another scenario, which is called planned energy scenario. That's a very well-known scenario. You can Google it. And which basically this scenario is saying or demanding that the world is taking some measures, but not aggressive enough. It only measured to bring down the CO2 emission to up to 36, down to 36.5 gigaton of CO2. And then there is another very aggressive scenario, which is a 1.5 degree scenario, basically to ensure that by the end of the current end of 2000, so by basically beginning of 2200, that the temperature is only maintained high by 1.5 degree higher. So that's we call the 1.5 degree pathway, and that basically calls with very aggressive measures to bring down the CO2 emissions starting by 2050 to a net zero. So basically, whatever is emitted, it's compensated from other operations in a positive side. So by 2050, the scenario is calling for a net zero of CO2 emissions, which is a very challenging scenario, but still doable. And renewable energy and the hydrogen is playing a key role in this scenario. And you can read about the scenario if you can get from the internet the IRENA World Transition Outlook report, the 1.5 degree pathway. So what are we doing in this? So basically, as I mentioned, our portfolio is impacted by the climate change, and we have solutions that supports our customer to decarbonize their energy system or to decarbonize their operation. So Siemens Energy decarbonized energy system portfolio. It operates across 3 areas, as we see on the screen. First, efficiency increase, that we try to maximize the power out of any type of fuel that our customers is using. Second, that to do a fuel shift or hybridization, where basically we use low carbon fuels, like the example I mentioned in the gas turbine. We can mix between green hydrogen and natural gas. Then it brings down a bit the emission of the gas turbines or of the power plant. The third area is a deep decarbonization. We basically use renewable energy, and the operations of our customer is carbon neutral or with 0 CO2 emissions. Each area, of course, has different product solutions and target customers and different market needs. That's a typical example in Egypt, which a project which we recently win, is to provide a gas compression station at Dashur. It's an area in Egypt on the Mediterranean, to provide this gas compression station with a type of equipment called organic Rankine cycle, a 28 megawatt electrical ORC, which is coupled with a 20 megawatt electrical motor-driven compressor trains. And it takes the waste heat recovery of a gas turbine, and it transforms the waste heat recovery into electricity that turn a compressor driven by electric motor. So basically, we are producing 25% capacity of electricity without any fuel consumption. That will save our customers 120,000 tons of CO2 emissions per year. And that's also translated into 192 gigawatt hour of fuel-free electricity per year. That's a typical example of I would say a decarbonized solution for our customers, and we do believe that this kind of solution will be replicated down the road in Egypt, because it put our customer on the path into a decarbonized energy system. Another example, of course, that's a typical wind farm. We have a wind farm in West Bahr area, that's Ras Gharib, very close to Ras Gharib, where in this area there are very good, very attractive wind conditions. Very attractive wind conditions. So there, Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy is building a wind farm of 250 megawatt, and we as Siemens Energy, we are building substations to connect the wind farm to the electricity grid. That's of course as well either the wind farm or the substation that includes as well maintenance, and for the wind farm it includes operation maintenance as well. So that's a complete turnkey project of wind farm and of substation to connect the wind farm to the electricity grid. And now to come to the hydrogen. So that's our hydrogen portfolio, hydrogen product. We call it Silyzer 300, which based on PEM technology, polymer electrolyte membrane, that has a 17.5 megawatt with an efficiency of 75%. It can produce up to 330 kilogram of green hydrogen per hour. So basically, we get electricity from, as we see from the next slide, yes. So we get green electricity from solar or from wind or from hydro, and we connect the electricity to the electrolyzers, which water electrolyzers, and then so as you see on the screen, so here we have the electricity, the green electricity coming from the renewable source. Maybe we have battery storage in the operation, or we are connected through the grid network. And here we have the electrolyzers, which is supplied by water. And then with the electricity coming with the renewable electricity, we split the hydrogen and the oxygen. So we take the hydrogen molecule. So, and we can take this hydrogen molecule and do a couple of things with it. Either we take the hydrogen and we store the hydrogen as a hydrogen, or we can transform the hydrogen into methanol via adding CO2 from a carbon capture process, or we take the hydrogen and we add to the hydrogen ammonia, nitrogen, and then we can produce, or we can transform it into a green ammonia. So basically, with our electrolyzers, we can generate from renewable electricity. We generate either green hydrogen, green ammonia, or green methanol, and the three of them, the three products, can be exported out of Egypt. So that's a process or a business where the countries like Egypt or other countries, they can export their green electricity export the green electricity to the other world in over different type of products. And what is the role of the green hydrogen into the decarbonized energy system? So that's what we call here sector coupling. What do we mean sector coupling? Basically, when we transform the green electricity into green hydrogen, then the green hydrogen can be used as a fuel, and this fuel can be used in many other applications, like in mobility. It can fuel trains, high-speed trains. It can be used also in petrochemical, and it can be used as well as a synthetic fuels. So that's the sector coupling. So we are coupling between the sectors in order to ensure that we are migrating or transforming the whole energy system into a decarbonized energy system. So that's basically my last slide. So our purpose and mission as a Siemens Energy, that we energize society by supporting our customers in a transitioning to a more sustainable world based on our innovative technologies and our ability to turn ideas into reality. So I believe I took more than I planned, Sarah. I wanted to leave questions for the people. So time for the people to ask questions.
Thank you very much for the interesting talk. Are there any questions? I think I have some in the chat. Maybe you can start with this. So someone asked, is Siemens company responsible for building combined cycle power plants in Beni Suef? If yes, I want to know how does it work?
Yes.
And I know that it depends on natural gas, so there will be harmful gases. So I want to know what are these gases and how this project will reduce the emissions. Again,
as I mentioned, the power plants in Beni Suef and Borolus has the highest efficiency in Egypt, and also I believe worldwide it's over 61%, which means that the CO2 emissions is much lower than the average CO2 emission from other power plants operating in Egypt or in other countries. Because of the higher efficiency, then you have a lower CO2 emissions.
And then there's a question, I didn't recognize any detailed mechanism to decline toxic emissions. I think maybe she means in Egypt in particular. So most of the projects in Egypt were, so let me ask the question another way. So the last projects that were based on hydrogen, and mixing hydrogen with natural gas and so on, are any of these in Egypt? So I understand that.
Okay, for the hydrogen project, we signed a letter of intent with the government, with the Ministry of Electricity back in January, and we are now in the process to sign an MOU, and then we start to implement the project. So that was only a letter of intent, but yes, we are in the process now of the in discussion with the government that we identify a project and we start jointly to develop the green hydrogen industry in Egypt.
Okay. So I have a few questions of my own. Maybe they start
Please,
thinking
go ahead.
while I ask. So one question not related to hydrogen energy. So regarding your Egyptian German Technical Academy. So
Yes,
who goes to this academy? So are they high school level and then they go to the academy, or graduates from higher level education, or students with diploma? What kind of students?
So mainly students, mainly engineering students, or graduate engineering students, or technicians. So basically, but it's people who finished the like ثانوية عامة or a high school diploma.
And how long does it take to earn a degree, or is it just separate courses?
We have separate courses. We have courses starting from 2 weeks up to 6 months. So it really depends. You can Google it. It's EGTA, egtaacademy.com, and then you can find all the courses offered at the academy. And then it depends on the course duration, but the certificate are issued from our side. So it's a Siemens Energy certificate.
Before I continue my questions, I have one more question. How to treat these toxic emissions in small scale? So if there is a small scale of emissions, how do you treat this?
How do we treat this?
Yes.
No, that's a technical question. I personally don't know how, but I will take a note of to get the answer of the question. Okay.
Okay. So I understand that one of the things, the forces that push Siemens towards their updating their profile is urbanization and climate change. Do you have any projects towards remote areas? So supplying electricity, but green electricity towards remote areas. Do you have any type of those projects, even if not in Egypt, in Africa in general?
Yes, of course we have. But and in Egypt we have, for example, we have projects in Egypt in Toshka, for example, is not anymore now a remote area, but we have project in Toshka. We have project in Sharq al-Awainat. So we have project in really very, very far areas out of Egypt. So that's typical. And we have, of course, projects in Benban. That's a pure green electricity. And outside Egypt, yes, in Africa, we have a couple of projects for sure that supplies green electricity to remote areas, for sure.
Okay. I had more questions. Okay, so I think we have a question here. I think I will allow questions for attendees.
Please.
Engineer Mohammed, please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, okay. So first of all, thank you very much, Mr. Ghaly, for the very important. My question is actually, I'm a teaching assistant at the Faculty of Energy and Environmental Engineering, and one of the main concerns that our students have is that job opportunities, specifically in the renewable energy field, after they graduate. We know that this field is very, very booming outside Egypt, especially in Europe and so on. But if you have any insight about ongoing or job opportunities specifically here in Egypt, this would be a great benefit to our students.
I think for job opportunities, we always have our websites and our channels on LinkedIn are always up to date with all the job opportunities, either that belongs to Siemens Energy or also to Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy. So if the students follow our LinkedIn channels, they will find all the available job opportunities. But generally speaking, as I mentioned, and also Egypt is taking a very decisive steps into growing the renewable energy installed base in Egypt. So they're still sticking to their 45% target by 2035. That means that a lot of renewable energy will be built in Egypt and in order to be connected to the grid. So they just need to follow Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy and Siemens Energy LinkedIn channels to find the updates on the new jobs.
But as you see it, like of job opportunities being made in the future, so in the 2 to 3 years, there will be a huge demand for renewable energy engineers, right?
Yes, and not only a renewable energy engineer, because again, a renewable energy project has mix of engineers. It has electrical engineers, it has renewable engineers, it has mechanical engineers. It has really a lot of it's not one single engineers, one single disciplinary engineering that goes into this project. But on the contrary, it's a mix of engineering, disciplinary engineering that work in such a project. So not only renewable energy, but mechanical, electrical, renewable control. It's a mix of capabilities that is needed to build such a project.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We have 2 more questions. Dr. Shahira, please go on and ask your question.
Hello.
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 Thank you for your lecture. I have one question about
Yes.
about your protocol and the techniques. Is it the same like the Belgian protocol of the green hydrogen with the Egyptian government?
It's different because we own the technology. So the Belgium they are kind of a developer, so we own the technology. So we have an electrolyzer. That's a Siemens product. That's one of the major differences, of course. So we have the full portfolio. So we have a portfolio wind farm. We have the solution. We have wind turbines as part of our portfolio that can generate or is generating in Egypt already green electricity, and we have the hydrogen side, the electrolyzer, which can coupled with the wind farm, it will generate green hydrogen. So that's a major difference between Siemens Energy and the Belgian company or the Belgian consortium, that we own the technology.
Okay, I have another question about
Yes.
your techniques. You depend on the hydrogen production for the water splitting. So the
Yes.
source of the water have to be close to the sea?
Preferably yes, but not to the sea. It's close to a source of water. We don't use. Even if we are going to use desalinated, if we are going to use seawater, it has to go through a desalination mechanism. We cannot use salted water.
This is my next question, the quality of the water.
No, we do desalination. We have to do desalination anyway.
The salts in the water, yeah. So
yeah, but the amount of water used, it's not much. The major part in this whole transformation of green electricity to hydrogen is the green electricity, is not the water.
okay.
The major component is the green electricity and not the water. Okay. Like in a gas turbine, the major component in the gas turbine in a power plant, in a combined cycle power plant, is the fuel, the natural gas fuel. So the natural gas fuel for a power plant is exactly like the renewable electricity for an electrolyzer based hydrogen plant.
Oh, the production of the hydrogen, because I didn't catch your technique is specific technique. So it's close to the FT. You use the FT.
It's close to what?
FT, Fischer-Tropsch.
I'm not aware what's FT, but if you can Google it under www.siemensenergy.com, you will find a white paper, or we can share later on a white paper on our electrolyzer. That's easy. We'll send it to Dr. Sarah, the white paper on our hydrogen system.
Okay.
I think they use something called polymer electrolyzer membrane, Dr. Shahira.
Yes, that's fair. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I can share some of these papers with you, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
We have more question. How can we isolate carbon dioxide and any gas from emissions? I think there was someone who raised their hands first, Ahmed. So maybe we take Ahmed's question.
Okay, my question is about using SF6 gas. Is there any alternative solution for it? Because I know that that gas is greenhouse gases and affect our environment. Does Siemens have any alternative gases?
Yes. We have alternative. Our new product portfolio now is called BUE portfolio. It's without the SF6. It's vacuum based.
Okay.
Hello. So it's vacuum-based without SF6 gas.
Okay, I have a lot of questions. I personally have a lot of questions, and then I got more even questions on the chat. So, so as not to take more of your time, I think I'll just email you all of the questions and maybe come back with answers to everybody, because I think we need 1 more hour for this.
That's right.
And I would like to just tell everybody that this talk is recorded, and so you'll find it on the RCIS website. I'll definitely send you a link. So at the end, thank you very much for this interesting talk. I myself have learned a lot from your industrial perspective. I would like to just summarize some of the main points Mr. Ghaly pointed out. The Siemens has been in Egypt for almost 120 years. They have a service center and the Egyptian-German Academy. 2 things to look for if you are a trainee or if you're looking forward to take some courses with Siemens. Siemens energy businesses include generation, industrial applications, and transmission. They are directed by important sustainability aspects, such as climate change, urbanization, globalization. They are facing the challenge of the growing demand of electricity while protecting the environment. I wouldn't take more of your time, so thank you very much.
Excellent.
It was really our pleasure to
excellent
you.
briefing. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you very much.
Looking forward to listen to you again in future talks.
My pleasure.
I think I just would like to I just would like to confirm that the talk will be accessible on the BUE Research Center for Irish Studies YouTube channel and Facebook page. Thank you again, Mr. Emad, very much.
Okay. No, thank you, Dr. Sar. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Emad. Thank you very much.